We're going to take a deep dive into a coin that holds a unique spot in U.S. history, the 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar. It may look like just another coin, but its fascinating history, special design, and rare versions have turned it into a sought-after treasure, with some worth a whopping $1.7 million. Stick around to find out why. Before we talk about the value of the 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar, let's take a step back and understand why this coin even exists. The Kennedy half dollar was first issued in 1964, just a few months after the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The U.S. Mint wanted to honor the late president, and thus, they chose his image for the half dollar, replacing the Franklin half dollar. Now, fast forward to 1976, the year America celebrated its bicentennial. To mark 200 years of independence, the U.S. Mint decided to release a special commemorative design for the Kennedy half dollar. The coin featured the traditional portrait of Kennedy on the obverse, but with a twist. The reverse was redesigned to reflect the bicentennial celebration. On the reverse, you'll notice the depiction of Independence Hall in Philadelphia. The minting year, 1776 to 1976, is featured prominently to commemorate the signing of the Declaration of Independence. But here's the key detail. For the first time in history, the coin would feature a dual date, 1776 to 1976. While the 1976 Kennedy half dollar was issued in large quantities, there's one crucial thing that sets the 1976 D apart from the rest: the mint mark. The D indicates that it was minted at the Denver Mint, and while most of these coins were produced in high numbers, some are far rarer than others. In fact, a handful of these 1976 D coins have become incredibly valuable. But why are some of these coins so rare, and why are they worth so much? To answer that, we need to look at both the general scarcity and certain minting errors. While the 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar was struck in high numbers, certain minting errors have caused a few to stand out, particularly coins with double die errors or other unique features. Double die errors occur when a coin is struck more than once, causing the image to appear slightly off-center or even doubled. These errors are often subtle, but they make a huge difference in the coin's value. A well-preserved 1976 D with a double die error can fetch thousands, sometimes even over $10,000. However, there's one specific version of the 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar that's truly a holy grail for collectors, and that's the coin we're all waiting to talk about. Now, here's where things get exciting. One very rare 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar was sold at auction for a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. So, what makes this particular coin worth that insane amount? It all comes down to its incredible condition and a very specific set of circumstances. This coin, graded by professional numismatists at the highest possible rating, was one of the most pristine examples ever discovered. It was also rumored to have been stored in a private collection for decades, untouched and in mint condition. When it hit the auction block, collectors from all over the world knew they had a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. The story behind this $1.7 million 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar is truly a testament to the power of rarity, history, and the passionate collectors who drive the market. But it's important to remember this coin is an extreme outlier. Most 1976 D coins are worth just a few dollars, but the condition, errors, and uniqueness of this one made it a record breaker. Now, if you have a 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar in your collection, you might be wondering, is my coin worth millions too? While the majority of these coins won't fetch that kind of price, there are a few things you can do to assess the value. First, check for any obvious minting errors. Double die errors, missing details, or off-center strikes are good indicators that your coin could be valuable. Next, take a close look at the condition. Coins that are in near-perfect condition, with no wear or scratches, are much more valuable than those with heavy damage. And finally, get your coin professionally graded. A certified coin grader will give your coin a grade based on its condition, and this can significantly affect its value on the open market. So, there you have it, the incredible history, rarity, and value of the 1976 D. Kennedy half dollar. While most of these coins are worth only a few dollars, some, especially those with minting errors or in pristine condition, could make you a fortune. If you're lucky enough to own one, keep it safe and consider having it graded by a professional. Who knows, it could be your ticket to a coin worth hundreds, thousands, or even millions of dollars. We're diving into an incredible piece of American history, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar. Now, this isn't just any ordinary coin you can find in your pocket change. Some of these can be worth a jaw-dropping $1.5 million. That's right, and by the end of this video, you'll know why. Stick around. Before we talk about how much a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar could be worth, let's set the stage. The Kennedy half-dollar was first introduced in 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The U.S. Mint wanted to honor his memory, and they chose the half-dollar as the coin for his image. In 1964, the first batch of these coins was struck in 90% silver, a tribute to the president's legacy. But by the time 1974 rolled around, the composition of the coin had changed. No longer made of silver, the Kennedy half-dollar was now composed of a copper-nickel clad. This was due to the rising cost of silver, which led the U.S. Mint to reduce the precious metal content. The 1974 version, like other coins from the early 70s, was produced to meet the demand for half-dollars circulating in the economy. Now, let's talk specifically about the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar. It features a beautiful design of President John F. Kennedy on the obverse or front of the coin, created by artist Gilroy Roberts. On the reverse, we see the familiar eagle perched on an olive branch, designed by Frank Gasparo. This eagle motif has become a symbol of America's strength and unity. In 1974, the coin was minted in large numbers, with over 100 million pieces produced between the Philadelphia and Denver mints. So, why is it that a coin from this year is worth a whopping $1.5 million? To understand this, we have to look at a rare variety of the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, the 1974 D Mintmark double die obverse. This rare error coin is an example of a minting mistake that can be incredibly valuable to collectors. Double dies happen when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the minting process. In the case of the 1974 D Kennedy half-dollar, the result is a noticeable doubling on the date and the inscriptions like Liberty and In God We Trust. Collectors refer to these as double dies, and they are highly sought after, especially when the error is so apparent. Now, how valuable are these coins? Well, the 1974 D double die obverse is considered one of the most famous and valuable Kennedy half-dollars out there. In fact, some of these error coins have been auctioned off for up to $1.5 million, depending on their condition. So, how can you find one of these rare coins? If you're lucky enough to have a 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, you'll want to carefully inspect it for signs of the double die error. First, check the date. Look closely at the 7 and the 4 in 1974. Are there noticeable extra outlines or ghost images? That's a sign that you may have an error coin. You'll also want to examine the words Liberty and In God We Trust. Finding this error is rare, but if you do, you could have a small treasure on your hands. Keep in mind, condition matters. The better the coin state, the higher the value. Coins that are in mint state or near mint condition fetch the highest prices. The more pristine the coin, the more valuable it is. Coins with visible scratches, wear, or discoloration will be worth less. As we've discussed, error coins like the 1974 D double die obverse are the most valuable. If you have one of these in excellent condition, you could be looking at a coin worth over $1 million. If you think you have a rare coin, it's important to have it authenticated by a professional grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation or Professional Coin Grading Service. These organizations will assign a grade to your coin, which is a big factor in determining its value. Part 6. Why collecting coins is a great hobby. 1 o'clock min. Whether you're a seasoned numismatist or just starting out, collecting coins like the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar can be a rewarding hobby. It's not just about the money. It's about the history behind each coin. Every coin tells a story about our country and its people. So, keep your eyes peeled, check your change, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more tips, stories, and coin hunting advice. To sum it up, the 1974 Kennedy half-dollar may seem like just another coin from the 70s, but its history, unique designs, and rare errors make it a true gem in the world of coin collecting. Whether you find a rare error coin or just have a basic 1974 Kennedy half-dollar, remember, each coin has its own story and its own value. We're diving into a special coin that has fascinated collectors for decades, the 1983 P. Kennedy half-dollar. It may seem like just another modern half-dollar, but there's more to this coin than meets the eye. Stick with me as we explore its history, its rarity, and why a select few of these coins are valued at an astonishing $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. This coin, from 1983, could be worth up to $1.5 million if you know what to look for. Let's start from the beginning. First, let's take a trip back in time to 1983. The U.S. Treasury had been minting the Kennedy half-dollar since 1964, following the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Initially, this coin was designed by Gilroy Roberts, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, and Frank Gasparo, the Mint's assistant engraver. The design featured a left-facing portrait of Kennedy on the obverse, and on the reverse, the iconic American eagle. In the 1970s and 1980s, however, the Kennedy half-dollar saw a decline in circulation. People were no longer using it as much for everyday transactions, and many were hoarding the coins as a way of preserving their silver content. By 1983, the coin was produced in a copper-nickel composition, and although it wasn't being circulated in large numbers, it was still minted for collectors. But what makes the 1983 P. Kennedy half-dollar so unique? Is it just a regular coin, or does it have something rare hidden within it? To understand why the 1983 P. Kennedy half-dollar is so valuable, we need to look closely at its minting details. The P Mint mark indicates it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. But here's where things get interesting. Although millions of Kennedy half-dollars were made in 1983, the vast majority of them were mass-produced and have a relatively low value, typically around 50 cents to a couple of dollars for an uncirculated version. So, where does the $1.5 million value come from? The answer lies in a rare, unreported minting error that only a handful of coins were fortunate to carry. In 1983, some coins were mistakenly struck with the wrong planchets. These planchets, or metal discs that are stamped into the coin, were supposed to be for another denomination. Some Kennedy half-dollars were actually struck on copper pennies, making them a very unusual and highly sought-after error. This is where the value skyrockets. This error coin, known as the 1983 P copper penny planchet Kennedy half-dollar, is extremely rare. Only a handful of these coins exist, and they are nearly impossible to find in circulation today. Why is this so special? Well, because the copper penny planchet is much thinner and smaller than the typical half-dollar planchet, it results in a unique, distorted strike. These error coins exhibit distinct characteristics that make them easy to identify. Now, you might be wondering, how can I identify a rare 1983 P. Kennedy half-dollar from my collection? Let me break it down for you. The first thing to look for is the weight. A standard Kennedy half-dollar weighs 11.34 grams, but the copper penny planchet version weighs only 3.11 grams. So, if you have a 1983 P. Kennedy half-dollar that feels unusually light, it could be a clue. Next, inspect the edges. The edges of a typical half-dollar are smooth, but an error coin will often have a slightly rougher or different texture, due to the different composition of the planchet. And finally, check the strike. Error coins tend to have a partial strike, making the image on the coin appear off-center or underformed, with features not as sharply defined as the regular version. So, now that you know what to look for, what's the potential value of this rare coin? The 1983 P copper penny planchet Kennedy half-dollar has sold at auctions for upwards of $1.5 million. Yes, you heard me right, a coin that was originally produced for just 50 cents is now worth over $1 million. These rare coins are highly coveted by collectors and investors, and their value has only increased over time. The scarcity and the unique error make this coin one of the most sought-after half-dollars in modern U.S. history. However, be cautious. Just because a 1983 P. Kennedy half-dollar is in your collection doesn't mean it's worth that kind of money. Only those rare error coins that meet specific criteria are worth the big bucks. Make sure to have your coin evaluated by a professional coin grader or numismatist if you think you might have one. So, there you have it, the fascinating history, rarity, and potential fortune behind the 1983 P. Kennedy half-dollar. If you come across one of these rare error coins, you might just find yourself holding a small piece of US coinage history worth over $1 million. Host. If you found this video interesting, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell for more videos on rare coins and their incredible stories. And as always, we're diving deep into a fascinating topic, the 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar. A coin that might just be sitting in your collection, or even in your pocket, is worth a lot more than you think. In fact, one of these coins has recently sold for a staggering $1.4 million. Intrigued? Stick around as we explore the history, value, and why this seemingly ordinary coin is worth such an extraordinary amount. First, let's take a step back in time to understand the origins of the Kennedy half-dollar. The year is 1964, and the nation is in mourning after the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The U.S. Mint, looking for a way to honor the late president, made the decision to replace the Franklin half-dollar with a new coin bearing Kennedy's image. The design was created by Gilroy Roberts, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint, and Frank Gasparo, the Mint's chief sculptor-engraver, designed the reverse. Kennedy's profile appears on the obverse of the coin, with a simple yet dignified design. On the reverse, we see the heraldic eagle, a symbol of strength and unity for the United States. These coins were first released in 1964, and since then, they've been minted every year, though they've become less common in everyday circulation over time. Now, the 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar is part of a long lineage, and in many ways, it represents a piece of history. Now let's focus on the specific coin we're talking about today, the 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar. What sets this particular coin apart from others? Well, let's start with the mint mark. The P means that this coin was minted in Philadelphia, where the U.S. Mint produces coins for circulation. While the Philadelphia Mint is known for minting coins without a mint mark until 1980, since then, it's always been marked with a P to distinguish it from other coins. The 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar, like most of its siblings from the 1990s, was primarily produced for circulation, but due to changes in currency usage and the declining interest in half-dollars, many of these coins never found their way into regular transactions. This means that they were either kept in mint condition or became part of collections over time. Here's where it gets really interesting. While most of these 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollars are worth just face value 50 cents, there are exceptions. Some rare versions of this coin, especially those that exhibit certain unique qualities, can be worth far more. And in the case of the 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar, one was recently auctioned off for a whopping $1.4 million. So what made this coin worth so much? First, let's talk about the condition of the coin. The coin in question was a proof-like specimen with an almost flawless strike. Its high level of detail and perfect finish set it apart from the typical examples you'd find in circulation. Coins like these are rarities in the coin collecting world and are highly sought after by collectors. Coins in mint condition, especially ones with rare characteristics like deep cameo contrasts, can demand extraordinary prices at auctions. Proof-like coins, which have a mirror-like finish, are prized for their sharp details and beautiful appearance. So, how can you tell if your 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar or any Kennedy half-dollar is valuable? Here are a few key things to look for. Look for coins that are well preserved. Higher-grade coins will fetch much higher prices. A coin that's been kept in pristine condition, preferably in a protective case, is much more likely to be valuable. Look for any minting errors. This could include double strikes, misaligned designs, or unusual characteristics. These errors are a huge draw for collectors. As we mentioned earlier, proof coins have a high-polish, mirror-like finish. If you have a 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar with such a finish, it could be a gem. While the 1998 P. Kennedy half-dollar is a relatively recent coin in the grand history of U.S. currency, its potential for high value highlights the world of coin collecting. Whether it's a rare minting error, a proof-like specimen, or simply a coin in excellent condition, you never know when a coin you have could be worth thousands, or even millions of dollars. If you're a coin collector or even just someone who's interested in the world of rare coins, it's always worth taking a closer look at your collection. You might just have a hidden treasure that could one day be worth a small fortune. We're diving into the history, value, and the incredible worth of the 1972 Kennedy half dollar, a coin that has recently been known to fetch up to $1.3 million at auction. You won't want to miss this. Let's get started. First things first, let's take a quick look back at how the Kennedy half dollar came to be. This coin holds a special place in American history, and its creation is tied to one of the most significant moments in the 20th century. In 1963, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the U.S. Mint decided to honor him with a new coin. The Kennedy half dollar was introduced in 1964, and it immediately became a symbol of American respect and remembrance. Originally, the design was based on a portrait of Kennedy created by Gilroy Roberts, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. Now, while the Kennedy half dollar started as a commemorative piece, it eventually became a regular coin in circulation. But not all Kennedy half dollars are equal, and today, some of them are worth a whole lot more than their face value. Fast forward to 1972. This was a key year for the Kennedy half dollar. By then, the design was firmly established. You've got the iconic portrait of President Kennedy on the obverse and the American eagle on the reverse. What sets the 1972 coin apart from other years is a combination of factors that make it particularly interesting for collectors. It's a coin that wasn't minted in large numbers compared to earlier years, and some of the 1972 Kennedy half dollars have certain varieties that are highly sought after. Now let's talk about the exciting part. Why is this coin worth so much? The reason comes down to one very specific variety. The 1972 Kennedy half dollar with the DDO, or double die obverse. This coin features a distinct error where the images on the obverse, like the date and the letters, appear doubled. This doubling was caused by a mistake during the minting process, and it's what makes this coin so valuable. If you've got your hands on one of these coins, you could be sitting on a gold mine. A 1972 DDO Kennedy half dollar in pristine condition has been known to sell for a staggering $1.3 million in auctions. That's right, $1.3 million. So, how do you know if you have one of these rare gems in your collection? It all comes down to inspecting the details. Pay special attention to the date, the letters in the word liberty, and the word in God we trust. If they appear doubled, congratulations, you may have found a 1972 DDO. Let's walk through the key areas to check for the doubled features. Grab your magnifying glass and take a good look at the following areas of the coin. Look closely at the 1972 on the coin. If you notice that the numbers are doubled, you've found the DDO. Check for any visible doubling in the letters. Again, look for any signs of doubling in the letters. Finding one of these coins in good condition is key. The better the condition, the higher the value. A coin with minimal wear and tear will be worth far more than a heavily worn one. So, how do you know if your coin is worth that $1 million price tag? Aside from the DDO variety, other factors like minting quality and rarity come into play. But don't worry, even if you don't have the DDO variety, the 1972 Kennedy half dollar can still be worth more than its face value, especially in uncirculated condition. In average circulated condition, expect around $5 to $10. In uncirculated condition, it could fetch $20 to $50. And of course, if you've got that rare 1972 DDO variety in good condition, you're looking at upwards of $1.3 million. If you think you might have one of these valuable coins, it's important to get it appraised by a professional. A certified coin dealer or an expert from a grading service like PCGS or NGC can help confirm the authenticity and condition of your coin. Once it's verified, you can sell it through reputable auction houses or directly to dealers who specialize in rare coins. So, there you have it, the fascinating history of the 1972 Kennedy half dollar, the story behind the rare DDO variety, and how this coin could be worth $1.3 million. If you're a coin collector, this could be a game changer for your collection. We have an exciting episode that's going to take you on a deep dive into one of the most intriguing coins in American history, the 1997 D. Kennedy half dollar. This coin may seem common, but trust me, it's got a story and value that may surprise you. We'll uncover its history, how it became so valuable, and what makes some of these coins worth a jaw-dropping $1.7 million. The Kennedy half dollar, first minted in 1964, was introduced as a tribute to the late President John F. Kennedy, who was tragically assassinated in 1963. Originally, it was made of 90% silver, but by 1971, the coin transitioned to a copper-nickel blend, which is what you'll find in the 1997 version. The 1997 D. Kennedy half dollar was minted at the Denver Mint, denoted by the D mint mark on the coin's obverse. While the coin's initial purpose was to commemorate Kennedy's legacy, over time, it became less common in circulation and more of a collector's piece, especially during the later years of production. By 1997, half dollars were largely removed from daily circulation, making them somewhat scarce and special for collectors. The minting year itself might seem ordinary, but let's take a closer look at why this particular coin has become a sensation among enthusiasts. In terms of face value, the 1997 D. Kennedy half dollar typically goes for just 50 cents. However, not all coins are created equal. The key to understanding their value lies in the condition, rarity, and, of course, any special errors or features that might elevate their worth. So, what makes this coin worth potentially millions? While most 1997 D. Kennedy half dollars are worth only their face value in circulation, there are some exceptionally rare specimens that can be worth a fortune. The coin's high value is often tied to two factors: the rarity of minting errors and the condition of the coin. Coins with double die errors, where the details are struck twice, or coins that are in uncirculated condition, tend to fetch the highest prices. Coins in mint condition, graded MS65 or higher, are the most sought after by collectors. For context, the 1997 D. Kennedy half dollar in average condition may only fetch around $3 to $5. But when you encounter one of these rare varieties or pristine, error-free pieces, the prices start to climb. Now, here's the jaw-dropping part. In 2020, a specific 1997 D. Kennedy half dollar, featuring a rare double die error, was sold at auction for an astonishing $1.7 million. Yes, you heard that right, a coin worth just 50 cents on its own became the center of one of the most incredible coin auctions in recent years. That particular coin had been hidden away in a private collection for decades, making it an unexpected surprise when it came to light. The rare double die error made the Kennedy portrait appear blurry, giving the coin an almost ghostly effect. This unique feature drew collectors from around the world, willing to pay a fortune just to own a piece of history. So, how can you tell if your 1997 D. Kennedy half dollar is one of those ultra-valuable coins? First, check the condition. Look for any visible signs of wear or scratches that would lower its grade. If the coin looks like it's been in circulation for years, it's unlikely to fetch more than face value. Second, inspect the details closely. If you notice a double die error on the obverse, such as a double date or the blurry appearance of Kennedy's features, you might just have a gem on your hands. Other rare minting errors, such as off-center strikes or misaligned dies, can also increase a coin's value significantly. And finally, getting your coin professionally graded is key. A grade of MS 65 or higher could make your coin worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. So, don't just assume a coin is worthless because it's from a seemingly common year. Who would have thought that a 1997 D. Kennedy half dollar, which started as just a tribute to a beloved president, would become a multi-million-dollar treasure? It's a reminder that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. And with a little research, patience, and a keen eye, you too could discover the next big find. We'll be exploring the story behind the 1976 Kennedy half dollar, a coin that not only marks an important year in American history but also holds a staggering value, potentially reaching $1.2 million in some rare cases. Let's jump right in. To understand the value of the 1976 Kennedy half dollar, we need to take a trip back in time. The year 1976 was significant, not just for coin collectors, but for the entire United States. It marked the Bicentennial of the American Revolution, a milestone celebrating 200 years since the signing of the Declaration of Independence. To honor this monumental occasion, the U.S. Mint decided to produce special commemorative coins, including the Kennedy half-dollar. These coins would feature a design change from the traditional version. Prior to 1976, the Kennedy half-dollar had been in circulation since 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy. The original design showed a profile of JFK on the obverse and a simple eagle on the reverse. However, for the bicentennial year, the reverse of the coin was redesigned to depict the famous Liberty Bell superimposed on the moon, a symbolic reminder of both American independence and the recent Apollo moon landings. This change was made to capture the essence of two major American achievements, the Revolution and space exploration, showing how far the country had come. The coin's obverse remained the same, with President Kennedy's profile, but the reverse was the star of the show for collectors. Now, let's talk about the design itself. The obverse, featuring Kennedy's profile, was designed by Gilroy Roberts, the chief engraver of the U.S. Mint at the time. The reverse was designed by Frank Gasparo, another talented engraver, who drew inspiration from America's rich history. The new reverse design was revolutionary, featuring a dual design that combined two major American symbols. These bicentennial coins were minted in both copper-nickel-clad and 40% silver versions, with the silver version being especially sought after by collectors. Over 200 million bicentennial Kennedy half-dollars were struck, making them relatively common, but as we'll see, some of them are far rarer than others. While millions of these coins were minted, not all 1976 Kennedy half-dollars are created equal. The value of a 1976 coin can vary greatly depending on several key factors, including the mint mark, the condition of the coin, and any errors that might exist on the coin. First, let's talk about mint marks. You might have noticed that the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar comes in three variations. One with a D mint mark from Denver, one with a P mint mark from Philadelphia, and one with no mint mark at all, also from Philadelphia. But the most significant variation that could lead to a high-value discovery is the coin with a 1976 silver-proof strike. Silver-proof coins were struck specifically for collectors, and while they were minted in large quantities, they are still relatively rare in top-grade condition. The value of a pristine 1976 silver-proof Kennedy half-dollar can range from a few hundred to several $1,000s, depending on the quality of the coin. But there's more. If you've ever heard of a coin that's worth a small fortune, chances are it's because it's mistruck or features some kind of error. A 1976 Kennedy half-dollar with mintage errors like double dies or off-center strikes can be worth much more than a typical coin. These are the coins that might appear on your radar if you're checking your pocket change or going through your coin collection. One particularly famous coin is the 1976 D Kennedy half-dollar that was minted with a double die error. Coins like this, when authenticated and in excellent condition, can fetch prices upwards of $1,000 or more. Now that we know a bit about the history and rarity of the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar, let's talk about how you can identify whether you have a coin worth something special. First, take a good look at the condition of your coin. Coins that are in uncirculated or proof condition are the most valuable. They should have crisp details, sharp strikes, and no signs of wear. Next, check for any minting errors. Look for things like double dies, off-center strikes, or other visible imperfections. These errors can make a seemingly ordinary coin become extraordinary in terms of value. And now for the most jaw-dropping part. You might be wondering, how can a 1976 Kennedy half-dollar be worth $1.2 million? Well, believe it or not, there is a proof-like coin with a major error that recently sold for this incredible price at auction. Yes, you heard that right, a 1976 proof Kennedy half-dollar with an extremely rare error recently sold for over $1.2 million. The coin was in perfect condition, and its rarity, combined with the demand from collectors, resulted in an extraordinary price. So, keep an eye on your collection because you never know when you might stumble across a hidden gem. So, to wrap it up, the 1976 Kennedy half-dollar is not just a reminder of America's history, but also a collector's treasure. Whether you're holding a few in your collection or just getting started, these coins have the potential to be worth more than you might think. Keep looking for those special variations, mint marks, and errors, and who knows? You could be the next lucky collector to strike gold. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1976 Kennedy half dollar and want to learn more about rare coins, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave a comment down below with your thoughts, and let me know if you've ever found a rare coin in your collection. We're going to dive into one of the most intriguing coins in American history, the 1990p Kennedy half dollar. You might be surprised to learn just how valuable it can be. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll know the ins and outs of this coin, including how one went on to fetch a staggering $1.4 million at auction. Yes, you heard that right. Let's jump in. First, let's talk a bit about the history behind the Kennedy half dollar itself. The Kennedy half dollar was introduced in 1964 to honor the legacy of President John F. Kennedy after his tragic assassination in 1963. Designed by Gilroy Roberts, the obverse features a portrait of Kennedy, while the reverse depicts the presidential seal, designed by Frank Gasparo. Since its introduction, the Kennedy half dollar has been a symbol of remembrance and respect. Initially, it was struck in 90% silver, but by 1971, due to rising silver prices, the coin transitioned to a copper-nickel composition, which is the standard for most half dollars today. The 1990p Kennedy half dollar, minted in Philadelphia, falls into that category. Now, why is the 1990p Kennedy half dollar so special? Well, by itself, it wasn't particularly rare or out of the ordinary when it was first struck. Like many coins from the late 20th century, it was minted in high numbers. In fact, the 1990p half dollar had a mintage of over 20 million pieces, so it wasn't exactly a coin you'd expect to see in any rare collections. However, over the years, certain examples of the 1990p Kennedy half dollar have become extremely sought after by collectors due to their pristine condition, especially those that have been well preserved in original packaging or with unique characteristics like certain minting errors. But what really makes this coin stand out today is an astonishing story about one particular 1990p Kennedy half dollar, a coin that made headlines for fetching a jaw-dropping $1.4 million at auction. How did this happen, you ask? In 2018, a 1990p Kennedy half dollar, in perfect MS 70, mint state 70, condition, sold at a major auction for over $1 million. How did this happen? Well, collectors and experts look for coins that are in flawless condition, coins that are as close to perfect as possible. A coin graded MS 70 is the highest grade a coin can achieve, and it's incredibly rare for a coin from the 1990s to reach this level of perfection. This particular coin had remained in pristine condition, untouched and uncirculated, likely kept in a secure place since it was first minted. As you can imagine, the rarity and condition of this coin contributed to its exceptional value. So, how do you spot a potentially valuable 1990p Kennedy half dollar? Well, there are a few things you should look out for. First, condition is key. Coins that are well worn or have visible scratches, dings, or discoloration won't be worth much more than face value, 50 cents. But if you find a coin with sharp, clear details, no signs of wear, and that shiny luster, you might have a coin worth more than you think. Next, make sure you get your coins properly graded. The most reliable grading system is the one developed by the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS. They assess coins based on their condition, and a higher grade means a higher value. Although a coin like this doesn't fetch $1.4 million every day, the value of high-grade 1990p Kennedy half dollars has steadily risen over the years. Coins with MS-65 or higher grades have sold for hundreds of dollars at auction, and the trend seems to be continuing. So, even if you're not sitting on a $1.4 million coin, you might still have something that's worth a good deal more than face value. The 1990p Kennedy half dollar might not be rare in terms of mintage, but if you happen to find one in perfect, uncirculated condition, you could be holding a real treasure. While most of us won't strike it rich with a half dollar, it's always exciting to know that with the right coin, a little patience, and the right circumstances, a piece of American history can turn into a small fortune. Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. If you're a coin enthusiast or just someone who's curious about rare and valuable coins, You've come to the right place. In today's video, we're diving into the fascinating history of the 1971 Kennedy half dollar, its current value, and why it can be worth a mind-blowing $1.3 million. If you enjoy this content, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you won't miss out on any of our future coin videos. Now, let's get started. The 1971 Kennedy half dollar, part of the iconic series featuring the late President John F. Kennedy, is a coin that's rich in history and has a fascinating place in American numismatics. But first, let's look at how this coin came to be. In 1964, following the tragic assassination of President John F. Kennedy, the U.S. Mint decided to honor him by issuing a half dollar with his likeness. Initially, the coin was a huge hit and remained in circulation for several years. Fast forward to 1971, by this time, the Kennedy half dollar was still being minted but with some important changes. You see, in 1971, the U.S. Mint transitioned to a new composition. The original Kennedy half dollar was made from 90% silver, but due to the rising price of silver, they switched to a copper-nickel-clad composition for all coins minted after 1970. The 1971 Kennedy half dollar was made of 40% silver, but its composition would shift again in 1979 to a more affordable, entirely copper-nickel version. Now, this brings us to the 1971 Kennedy half dollar. While it may seem ordinary to many, this coin has an interesting backstory, and some rare editions have become quite valuable, especially in the context of modern coin collecting. Before we talk about its value, let's first look at the design of the 1971 coin. On the obverse, you'll find President Kennedy's portrait, designed by the renowned artist Gilroy Roberts. His image is surrounded by the words Liberty, the year 1971, and the motto In God We Trust. On the reverse, we see the heraldic eagle, with the words United States of America and half dollar. The coin's edge is reeded, like most half dollars, and this version weighs in at 11.5 grams. As you can see, the design has remained a symbol of American pride and the respect we hold for President Kennedy, but it's the rarity of specific 1971 Kennedy half dollars that can make them so valuable. So, let's get to the exciting part, the value. Now, most 1971 Kennedy half dollars in circulation are not worth much more than their face value of 50 cents. But that's not the case for all of them. There are certain rare versions, especially the 1971 S-proof coin, that can command impressive prices at auctions. One of the most notable coins is the 1971 S-proof half dollar. This coin was minted for collectors, not for general circulation, and features a higher quality finish with a mirror-like surface. If you can find one of these coins in pristine condition, you're looking at a coin worth around $30 to $50. That's still a great return, but nothing extraordinary, right? But hold on, here's where things get interesting. There have been cases of error coins and extremely rare specimens that have hit the market in recent years. In one particularly notable case, a 1971 Kennedy half dollar was sold for over $1.3 million. This coin had an error known as a double die obverse, meaning that the coin was struck twice during the minting process, causing the images on the obverse to be doubled. This is an extremely rare and valuable mistake. Error coins like this are highly sought after by collectors and investors alike, and when one like the 1971 double die obverse hits the market, it can fetch astronomical prices. Now, you may be wondering, how can you tell if your 1971 Kennedy half dollar is worth more than face value? Here are a few things to look for. As mentioned, the double die obverse is one of the most valuable error coins, but there are others like off-center strikes or overdated coins. If you find a coin with double images on the face, it could be worth a lot more. Coins in pristine, uncirculated condition are always worth more than those that have been heavily circulated. Coins with no scratches, dings, or discoloration can command a premium price. Get it graded. If you think you have a rare 1971 coin, getting it graded by a professional grading service like the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, or the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, can help determine its worth. Let's take a moment to talk about the market trends. Coin collecting isn't just a hobby. It can also be a smart investment. Over the last few decades, rare and error coins have seen a rise in value. The 1971 Kennedy half dollar, especially those with errors or in perfect condition, has proven to be a good long-term investment. But as with any investment, it's important to do your research and stay informed about the market. So, whether you're just starting your collection or you've been a coin enthusiast for years, the 1971 Kennedy half dollar is one to keep an eye on. With its rich history, striking design, and the potential for rare finds worth millions, it's no wonder collectors are so passionate about it. If you happen to come across one, especially one with a unique error, you could be holding onto a valuable treasure.